What's going on, YouTube? America's love affair with the three-row SUV began long ago, and one of the first models in this space was the Ford Explorer. It remains an extremely popular choice to this day. And amid intense competition since then, one of the most popular options is the Toyota Highlander family. So after the recent introduction of the Grand Highlander and a heavy update to the Explorer, which of these large and powerful family SUVs reigns supreme? Well, that's what we're going to find out. Now we have a ton to cover in this comparison, including the exterior, interiors, cargo, and driving experience. But first, let's quickly establish the pricing right from the top. Beginning with the new Grand Highlander, we have the fully loaded Platinum trim, which is pushing dangerously close to $60,000 after destination. The total price is $59,460 to be exact. That near $60,000 price tag is not exclusive to the Toyota though, as the Explorer is actually even closer to that milestone. Its top trim, also called Platinum, comes in at $59,865. By the way, if you want to get the best price from local dealerships and access to invoice pricing information for these two models or any vehicle, we have a tool on our website to do just that. It's quite helpful when shopping, so check the link in the description for more info. If you haven't seen one of our comparisons in the past, they are conducted in an objective way. We've done our best to weigh the points awarded throughout in major and minor categories. And at the end, we will talk about our newest addition, resale and reliability information. But with that being said, let's get into it. As always, we'll begin with the exteriors, where we will certainly notice the latest looks on both. The Grand Highlander is a bit boxier up front, and both of them have plenty of silver and chrome accents to show that they are the top trims, although most of it is smoked on the Toyota. Lighting-wise, both have premium LED projector beam setups, with LED fog lamps down below. Moving to the sides, you'll see that both are big and on the larger end of the segment, but the Toyota has a little bit of a length advantage. We will see if that translates to more rear seat and cargo space later on in this comparison. But for now, Toyota picked 20-inch alloy wheels and the Ford 21s. That's too small of a difference for a point, and both of them have matte black finish around the wheel arches and lower moldings. I do also want to point out that only the Explorer can technically get a two-tone black roof, but its hefty $5,000 price tag will put it out of reach of 99% of buyers. Moving to the rear, you'll notice that both have fairly sporty appearances, mainly contributed by being some of the few models in the segment with exposed exhaust tips. They also have full LED taillights, exposed wipers, and spoilers. Towing comes in at the same 5,000 pound maximum for both. Now checking out some of the individual features, let's stop at the mirrors. Ford is including luxury level ones with all the features: heating, blind spot monitoring, auto dimming, and power folding. The Toyota is missing the auto dimming abilities. Family SUVs need more than just blind spot monitoring though. And as far as other active safety features, these two have you covered with all four included as standard equipment on all trims. The wild card is that the Ford offers Blue Cruise, which is a system that allows for hands-free driving on most controlled access highways in the US and Canada. It's more advanced than the under 25 mph traffic jam assist that the Toyota has. But it also costs $75 a month after the 90-day trial, so that offsets points-wise. Lastly, know that their warranties are identical, besides for complimentary maintenance on the Toyota. But it's the features, luxury, and comfort of the cabins that are most important in this comparison, so let's get into that. But first,
if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
as we walk towards the interiors, both models have smart entry systems, and the Ford has remote start built into the fob free for life. Once we open up the doors, you'll immediately see two cabins which are elevating the family experience in terms of space, technology, and even luxury. Seats are the first stop though, where we have 12-way power seats on both, with memory, heating, and ventilation. The Explorer though has a higher end leather from Lincoln, instead of the suede and leather seat from the Toyota. And it also has massaging, which is not offered on the Grand Highlander. Now after we fully climb inside, we can get into the major point category of overall material quality. While neither are the segment leaders in material quality, the Ford does take the lead in this regard. For 2025, they've refined the material selection by giving you more padded plastic, leatherette trims, faux wood, and even real metal speaker grills. After startup, you'll see 12.3-inch digital gauge clusters on both, with fully customizable graphics. These are equal in quality and performance, but a head-up display is not available on the Explorer like it is on the Grand Highlander. Moving back to the leather-wrapped steering wheels, both have nice feels in the hand, to go along with heating in the winter, but only the Ford's is power adjusting. Now let's talk about overall interior storage. First, their main center consoles are both massive, but the Grand Highlander is labeled as a donut dominator because it swallowed 24 donuts in our donut test, the max allowable score. There are additional cubbies in front of that with wireless phone charging pads, and even passenger storage on the right side of the vehicle. The Grand Highlander will take this point. Moving on to the shifters, Ford has a rotary electronic one, and the Toyota a nub-shaped one. When you use the shifters to engage reverse, 360-degree camera systems will pop up. Both cover the displays fully, have plenty of views, and reasonably good video quality. Now also in this area, we have the climate controls. Both are 3-zone automatic, but it's important to note that the Explorer's controls are exclusively inside of the main display. The virtual buttons are a little on the small side as well, so the Grand Highlander's physical dials are certainly going to be preferable when making adjustments while driving. Both of them, though, have physical volume knobs to control their premium audio systems. The Explorer's Bang & Olufsen system definitely sounds more upscale, with rich audio quality, plus it has a 3-speaker advantage. Next, let's get into the screens. The Explorer's new 13.2-inch display rings in at about 7% more screen real estate. The Toyota uses a 12.3-inch display, and both models have the latest software from their respective brands. Ford's system now has built-in Google apps, so you have access to Google Maps with live traffic, Assistant, and more. And both of them have wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay abilities. Last but certainly not least, for the front of the interiors, both models have auto-dimming mirrors, but only the Highlander has the rear camera ability. Both feature nice and large panoramic sunroofs as equipped. But now let's move into the rear spaces, because this is probably the reason you're interested in these SUVs to start with. If you remember, the Grand Highlander has a length advantage, and while it does translate to a legroom advantage, it is very slight. With about 3% more legroom, it doesn't hit the 5% difference threshold required to score a point. Regardless, the features list is largely the same. There are rear climate controls, vents, 2 USB ports, household power outlets, and heated rear seats. There are sunshades for keeping the sun out of your eyes, but for those oppressively hot summer days, you will cool down much quicker in the Toyota with its ventilated back seats. These are the captain's chair arrangements, obviously, but bench seating is offered on both. Now let's head to the next row of seats, where both have sliding mechanisms to make access simple. As far as space is concerned, the figures are very close. In both leg and headroom, the percentage difference is under 5%, but there's more to the story. The Explorer's seats are mounted close to the floor, making for very little thigh support and reducing comfort. Also, it only has 2 seats back here instead of 3, like most other options in the segment, including the Toyota. Outside of that, both have nice features, like vents and USB connections. After popping open the hands-free power tailgates, we have even more differences. The Grand and Grand Highlander really comes out of here, since it ties the GM siblings for best cargo capacity in the class. That does indeed mean that it exceeds the Explorer by quite a bit, 13% to be exact in the maximum configuration, and above 20% behind the third row. Grand Highlander really is as big as it gets in this class. The Explorer fights back though by including power folding ability for the third row. Alright, that's it for the interiors, so now let's take this family fight to the streets. This fight is far from over, and there is a lot to talk about here because these are actually 2 of the most powerful options in the entire segment. But how they go about making that power is quite different. At this price point, the Ford trades out its turbo 4-cylinder for a 3-liter twin-turbo V6, making significantly more power at 400 horsepower and 415 pound-feet of torque. The Grand Highlander also upgrades at this price point, but by adding a powerful hybrid system. Its 2.5-liter turbo 4-cylinder with front and rear electric motors produces 362 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque. Based on Motor Trend testing, both of them accelerate to 60 miles per hour in under 6 seconds, which is impressive, but the Explorer is still about a half second faster with its extra power.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful V6 refinement.
That's right. That's the power of 400 horsepower. So, with this Explorer, of course, one of the most unique aspects about it in this generation has always been that it even offers something with this type of power. So this is the 3-liter twin turbocharged V6 engine, again with 400 horsepower. Ford brags that this is the most powerful SUV with 400 horsepower under $60,000. 60.
It pulls hard.
Yeah. Definitely. From the first time that we experienced this, it really was impressive in terms of power, and throughout the 7 days, it just continues to impress.
The other powertrain element helping for the surprisingly quick accelerations are the transmissions. Explorer has a 10-speed automatic, while the Highlander actually has a 6-speed automatic due to how the hybrid system is packaged. While more gears isn't necessarily an advantage, in this case the 6-speed does shift slower than the 10-speed, which can seamlessly move up and down several gears at a time.
Now let's talk about the transmission as well. So this has a 10-speed automatic transmission. A great partner with this engine, nice and smooth. We've always been a big fan of this transmission in the Explorer and other Ford products. It's just a really smooth partner.
Yeah, for sure. And I also really like that this Hybrid Max has a traditional transmission. So you may have seen that in our acceleration there. This actually has a 6-speed automatic transmission.
But it's definitely not all about speed, since comfort is extremely important for family crossovers. We have 2 big considerations here between ride and dynamics. First, the Explorer is riding on a rear drive platform instead of a front wheel drive one like the Toyota, although I should note that both of them have all-wheel drive as equipped. This helps give the Explorer some noteworthy dynamics advantages, and it is impressively balanced when going around corners. However, it's the Toyota with the superior ride. It's tuned to be cushier when hitting potholes and road imperfections, and the smaller wheel size does help here as well.
Now as you accelerate, I want to talk about something that is honestly very unique to the Explorer platform, and it's the fact that it's built on a rear-wheel drive architecture. This is something that's becoming more and more unique in this segment. Most everything mainstream is built on a front-wheel drive platform.
And while we're just kind of cruising along down this highway, I do want to just go ahead and leave off the performance for a little bit and dive into ride quality, because this is a Grand Highlander after all. It's really designed just to bring your family along for long road trips, which, like we said, we did do this week. And I have to say, very, very impressive. I absolutely love the way that they've done the suspension in this Grand Highlander. It soaks up the bumps super well. The seats are very comfortable over long road trips and long periods of time.
But it wouldn't be a Car Confections comparison if we didn't talk about the noise levels in the cabin. We took samples of both at 55 miles per hour. However, the Explorer's rating was measured in Michigan on a media drive. Because of this, we can't award an official score until we get the Ford back to Kentucky. Here are the reading samples for your reference in the meantime.
All right, before we started slowing down, we settled at 57 decibels even, which is a very good rating for the Ford Explorer.
53.5 decibels seems to be the number that we've settled in at for this Toyota Grand Highlander on our home stretch of road here in Kentucky.
And the last on-the-road item to discuss is fuel economy. You might expect the Explorer's V6 to come in significantly worse than the Grand Highlander's hybrid max system. And you'd be correct. The Toyota has a 6 mpg combined advantage here, which will certainly add up over the lifetime of owning these SUVs. Thankfully, both of them run on regular fuel. In our reviews and comparisons, we are also adding in reliability and resale information to give you a better picture of the overall value beyond just the original MSRP. Beginning with reliability, we developed the Combined Reliability Index, which takes into account several studies from trustworthy sources and combines them in a way that gives you a more realistic picture. In this respect, these two are quite different. Ford slots in 5 slots below the industry average, taking away a half point. Meanwhile, Toyota is the highest ranked brand at 16 slots above average, giving it plus 1.6 points. We also put Mason's economics degree to work to develop a detailed predicted resale value tool. After 5 years and 60,000 miles, the same thing plays out with the Explorer coming in a lot lower, retaining an estimated 48.8% of original MSRP, and the Toyota 64.5%. That's a 15.7% difference, awarding the Toyota plus 1.5 points. Resale is obviously important because it determines how much money you get back, but you can't forget about the price difference at the original purchase. There is only $406 difference between the two of them, which is not enough to award any value points. I want to emphasize that if money, reliability, or resale value matter less to you personally, feel free to disregard these points. And if you'd like to check out all our data about reliability and resale values, as well as learn about our methodology, make sure to head over to carconfections.com/resale and /reliability. Buying a car is a big decision, and this is a great place to compare the vehicle makes that you might be cross-shopping.
Alright, so that's it for another comparison between two of the best sellers in that midsize 3-row SUV segment. But let's go ahead and kind of recap here with some pros and cons and talk about which one should be your personal winner based on your preferences. So, the Explorer should be your winner if you're looking for cabin advantages, basically. So, it does have massaging seats. It has Bang & Olufsen audio, which is really fantastic. It also has a power third row. Another thing you might be looking for is that V6 refinement and the more power that comes from that, as well as better handling. And if you want to go hands-off, that Blue Cruise system is more advanced than what Toyota offers.
Now on the flip side, the Toyota Grand Highlander should be your choice if you value the better cargo capacity and third row. That's really the reason why a lot of people buy vehicles in this segment, and the Grand Highlander is pretty much the best. Also, the hybrid MPG, as well as just the power. It's a very impressive powertrain setup. It also has superior resale value and reliability rankings according to our data. So certainly something to keep in mind.
Although I do want to point out that the Grand Highlander is under a stop sale because of an airbag recall. However, that is supposed to be worked out in October and have production return again. So I did just want to point that out real fast.
Now, we want to know your opinions about this comparison. Which one are you taking? Are you taking the Toyota Grand Highlander or the Ford Explorer? Let us know your thoughts down below. Also, if you're looking to buy either one of these SUVs or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, the reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description, and we also have a pinned comment at the top of this video. And guys, that's going to be where we leave off on this comparison. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're not already a subscriber to the channel, we would really appreciate you hitting that subscribe button down below. You're going to get a lot more car content that I'm sure you won't want to miss out on. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies. And thank you if you're already a subscriber.